Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show, live on WBON-TV Channel 9 and on radio at WEKY, WKXO, and WIRV. Also brought to you by Bishop Small Engine Repair, the Law Office of Patrick O'Neill, Nuevo Vallarta, and the Richmond Raceway. Now let's go live to your hosts, Michael Watkins, Samantha Burford, and Dawson Rule.
Happy New Year, everybody, and welcome into another exciting episode of the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show. As always, so much fun to be with you here on a Monday night. Michael Watkins, Samantha Burford, Dawson Rule here in studio today as we celebrate closing out another fun sports year and heading into 2024 with a lot to be excited about as well.
I agree, don't you?
It was such a great year, and
Yes.
let's see what this next year brings in the sports world,
You're
right?
It was definitely hard making our top 10
Yes,
list.
yeah.
And there were so many that we were like, that deserves to be on there. Oh, wait. But then that means we have to
That
take
one.
something else off.
Yeah.
So, wow. Congratulations to all the teams this year that we cover because it was definitely difficult.
Well, one thing I've noticed, and we've talked about this a ton of times over the last several years, is how many just, when you throw in EKU as well, how many individual talented athletes we have, the amazing coaches that coach them. We're just blessed to be able to cover them and talk to them throughout the season and shine a light on just maybe a little bit of just how special they each are.
I mean, there's so many coaches, athletes, players, even, parents and family and assistants and, managers, whatever, all these people that go into making the teams great. We get to know so many of them, and they're all awesome people.
And it's really fun to meet the coaches when we have
Yeah.
all the coaches on. They all have one thing in common. They want to play difficult teams to get them past the district, past the region, and on to state. And you can't do that if you're not going to play those difficult teams throughout the season. And they all have that in common, no matter whether it's volleyball, basketball, archery, whatever.
Well, you talked about the coaches, and as we head into our top 10 list here, let's talk about those coaches and some of the amazing ones that we've got. Let's start with our top 10 list. What we are going to do today is run down the top 10 moments or maybe stories from the 2023 year. And we're going to start with number 10, and it is EKU Volleyball and that amazing season that they had that led them to the postseason, Dawson. A lot of fun this year. And we were joined by Jonna Bazzani several times throughout the season. What a great coach she is. You were talking about some of the great coaches. She is one of them, and she just recently signed that big contract extension to keep her in Richmond for several more years.
I mean, EKU Volleyball has done things that they've not done in well over 10 years with her, and I think they got 21 wins this year. That was, what was it, Samantha, the most since like 2005 or something like that?
Yes,
So,
I took notes because there were so
Yeah.
many accolades for this team that I was like, we have to list them all.
And she did a great job. EKU got the chance to play Clemson in a postseason tournament. First time they'd been in a postseason tournament in a while. So congratulations to EKU Volleyball on a great year.
Yeah, I got to read them. They had a 13-match winning streak, which tied them for the longest in program history.
Yeah.
First national postseason tournament, like you mentioned, since 2004. The first top 3 conference finish since 2014. And a program record 7 straight shutout victories. So, yeah. So coaches just finished her 5th season and got a 6 more years, through 2026
Three or
extension.
four.
Yeah, 3
Yeah.
or 4 more years.
Well,
so.
they were
Exciting.
11-5 in the ASUN conference, finished third in the conference play. Now they did get upset in the first round of the conference tournament, but Dawson, you talked about it. Getting to play Clemson in the postseason was a big deal as they played in the I think it was the NIBC, the National Invitational Volleyball Championship. Lost to Clemson there, but a really good season, and they had a lot of really good players coming back for their team in 2024, which should kind of, I think, increase the excitement as they go into the new year.
I mean, the ASUN's got a lot of good teams in volleyball, and for a while, Eastern was kind of towards the bottom. Now they can say they're one of the top ones now, and they can compete to win it all, even though they got upset this year. They keep the talent up. They keep the wins up. Maybe next year they can win it.
We'll just talk about some of their athletes. We know about Van de Griff. Her brother played quarterback at
Yeah.
Georgia, which we didn't even know that till we got, or I didn't know that until we got into the transfer portal season. He transfers to Kentucky, so that was kind of a big thing. But we've got Sarah Mitchell, who got a big postseason award. Josie Schmittendorf, the libero.
She's on the
a
show.
really good player. We had her on the show. So they've got a lot of talent coming back next year, and it should be another fun season for EKU volleyball fans as we go into 2024.
And it's pretty exciting that you mentioned the Sarah Mitchell. I mean, she's a senior. She just won. It's a super award, the ASUN Winners for Life team. That is just someone that is so special that they do things on and off the court. And it's, it's exciting because she's from Berea.
Yeah, went to Madison
Yeah.
Southern and had a really good career there, and then doing big things over at EKU.
And one more year left, so
Yep.
even more big things to come.
That's number 10 on our top 10 list. Number 10 is EKU's volleyball. Incredible season in 2023 that sent them to the postseason. Now let's go to number 9. And this is one of the special stories and moments from 2023. We've already started our new basketball season, Dawson, but when we look back on what last year gave us, one of the biggest moments was that Madison Central versus North Laurel basketball game. I want to say it was late January when
Sometime
Jalen
around
Davis and Reed Shepherd matched up, two really good basketball players. We know what Reed Shepherd is doing now at Kentucky, and Jalen Davis dominated him in a big Madison Central win over North Laurel this year.
I think it was 37 points or something like that. And at that time, Central was having a pretty good season, but North Laurel was having a very good year. And it was an important win that Central got at a time they needed it. And North Laurel was top 25, so was Central. And Central really used 3 guys and just controlled the game. Of course, Jalen Davis was a big part of that with his 37-point performance. But he couldn't miss that night. Reed Shepherd still had like 15-something points.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it was just completely domination. Jalen Davis was out there balling on Mr. Basketball. And look what Reed's done this year for Kentucky. Man, it just makes it even more impressive.
You know, Davis always guarded, Coach Feldhouse always had him guarding the best on the other teams, and he always rose to that occasion, always. He had 7 3-pointers in that game.
Oh, wow. Okay. I didn't realize it was that much.
Yeah. It was, I think we just talked about it even in a sports show here recently, and it's crazy that we're still talking about it even though we're in a new era of basketball season.
New season.
So it's kind of neat.
Well, and in talking to Dawson, we always talk about some of the athletes we get to cover. You've said Jalen is maybe your favorite player you've ever got the chance to
Of all
watch.
time
Yeah.
for you?
So all time, he's one of them. Wes is probably like because he did football and basketball.
Yeah.
I've never seen someone, at least since I've covered in Madison County, that's dominated basketball and football like that. But Davis, yeah, he's up there. He's a great basketball player now at Liberty, and hopefully we'll get to see him in the future do some great things there.
Goodness.
But when he was in high school,
Yeah.
he
I
dominated
agree.
Kentucky basketballs and Mr. Basketball Reed Shepherd.
Yeah, and listen, if you don't love Jalen Davis, I feel like there's something wrong with you because the
Heck
kid
of a
was
basketball player.
he was always a pleasure to talk to, always so
Polite.
respectful.
Yeah.
We had the passing of his dad Jamal a couple of years ago, and Jalen, I think that helped him kind of mature a little bit quicker, having to kind of take more of a leadership role at home. But every time I talked to his mom, she was always appreciative about us being able to cover him. But I've never heard anybody say a negative thing about Jalen Davis, which, again, I think just goes to show you how good of a kid he was. And that moment, that story, what he did with Reed Shepherd in that game when Central won by like 15, 16 points, it was a
74-58.
yeah, so a 16-point win. That was a really special moment and one of our biggest stories from the 2023 year. How about going into number 8 as we round out the first segment here? And this is something that, Samantha, that you'll have a little bit more of an expertise on. Madison Central High School cheer finishing second in the Nationals, over 120 teams in that competition, and the Central cheerleading squad had a big performance in that Nationals competition.
Yeah, for their varsity team, they were going for back-to-back national titles because they won the Nationals in 2021, and in 2022 they came up just a little short. But you guys don't always understand cheerleading the way I do, so I'm happy to talk about it. But I tell you guys all the time, what basketball team could play 120 other teams and beat every single one of them? And it's over 3 days, which there's so many teams coming in this February in a couple of months that they're extending it an extra day.
Oh, wow.
So now they're going hopefully for another national title. But now what is crazy and remarkable is that JV, that team, won the national title this past year. So that is really impressive. They won the game day competition. They went full out, and it was remarkable. And congratulations to both teams. Second in nationals for varsity, and then JV winning the game day routine.
Well,
impressive.
And, we've talked to Coach Feldhouse a lot, and she's got so many state championships. And they've won nationals before. She has had a really incredible career at Madison Central, and just seeing what her and Coach Feldhouse, her husband, have done on the basketball side, it's just kind of it would be hard to look through the history of just sports in Kentucky and find a more legendary coaching couple than what we've got with those two.
I never thought about that.
Yeah,
championships and regions and a whole lot in the cheer, because it seems like every year they're winning, whether it's game day or another division.
Or region.
State.
Or state. It is impressive, the list of accolades that these teams have won.
And you're judged differently, obviously, because, Coach Feldhouse, whenever, let's say Central's playing Lexington Catholic, while the game's being decided on the court, the two cheerleading squads aren't competing against each other there. They're just trying to motivate the players and get the fans fired up. So you can't really count wins per se, but what Coach Feldhouse has done with the cheerleading team, really incredible. And they come in as our number 8 story in our top 10 today. Madison Central High School cheer coming in second place in the Nationals, competing against over 120 teams. Another big story in 2023. We'll step aside for our first commercial break. When we come back, we'll look at numbers 7, 6, and 5, and in one of those, a new scoring king at Madison Southern. We'll talk about that when we come back. Happy New Year from all of us here at the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show.
Whether you're looking for dependability in the game or on the road, Madison County is where you'll find it. Jack Burford Chevrolet in Richmond has the trucks you can depend on and a winning tradition, just like our great local sports teams. Come see us at Jack Burford Chevrolet in Richmond, or check us out at jackburford.com to see our lineup of dependable trucks and become part of the winning tradition.
I'm Michelle. And I'm Jennifer, and in the spring of 1992, Bishop Small Engine Repair was born in our mom and dad's barn in Estill County.
Then in the fall of 1992, we made the move to Madison County, where we are today. With the support of our family, customers, and community, we have continued to grow in the outdoor power industry. With a full line of products from Cub Cadet, Grasshopper, Echo, and Shindawa, we can help you tackle your yard so you can enjoy it with your family. Bishop Small Engine Repair, where our focus is our customer. Stop on in, 119 Northwest Avenue in Richmond.
We can't wait to see you.
Who makes the best meal in Richmond? Nuevo Vallarta. Friendly service, a place that's good for kids and good for groups. Head to Nuevo Vallarta on Big Hill Avenue in Richmond. Nuevo Vallarta is known for warm hospitality, great prices, great food, and the best fajitas in town. Start with an appetizer, order a la carte, or choose from their huge menu of Mexican favorites for grown-ups and kids. Nuevo Vallarta on Big Hill Avenue in Richmond.
Patrick O'Neill has been serving Central and Eastern Kentucky since 1995. When someone is accused of something they didn't do, or when a good person makes a mistake, they need the best representation they can find. And that's Patrick O'Neill. Whether it's criminal defense, Social Security, disability, personal injury, workers' compensation, or deeds and wills, when you need legal advice, trust the expertise of Patrick O'Neill. He will get you the money you deserve. His office is located in Jackson, but Patrick practices all over Central and Eastern Kentucky. For more information or for a free consultation, call 606-666-2990.
Happy New Year, everybody, and welcome back into the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show. Before we get to numbers 7, 6, and 5, y'all got any New Year's resolutions for the new year?
Just keep getting better in the gym, you know. Been hitting it hard this year. Kind of.
You can tell.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm not trying to flex here, but I'm trying to flex, if you get what I'm saying, you know. It's a
You
little
don't have
bit.
much to flex, though.
I'm getting there. That's why
I
I got to
don't-
keep getting better.
I don't cuss a lot, but I do say S-H-I-T every
Oh
once in
my
a while.
gosh,
I'm not going to
Samantha.
say it on air.
Thank
So
you.
my New Year's resolution is to not say that word.
That word,
We'll
okay.
see how long. Is that really a cuss word? My kids say it is.
And the definition, I don't know. I was taught that it was a bad word.
What would the fine be? if
That's
we were
really
saying-
the only word
Yeah.
I say.
The fine be, well, we would have to find, the sports show would have to fine her $1.7.
I don't say it in the show. I
Well, we
drop
appreciate
things
that.
and then I go, oh.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's a good resolution to have. I don't have one yet, but by next Monday I will have one. Like I will come up with one, and I'm going to do it. You know, and always people talk about
That is a
losing
whole
weight
week
and-
too late.
No, we got plenty of time. And hey, by next Monday, Dawson and you'll have said the SHIT word 7 times, so yours will be done.
And you'll be
Dawson will
flexing.
be eating a lot, and not going to the gym, so y'all's resolutions
Hey,
will already be
I
over
went
with.
this morning, did my triceps
Alright.
and shoulders, you know.
All right. Well, let's look at numbers 7, 6, and 5 for the top 10 stories out of 2023. And coming in at number 7, Jay Rose, a player that we've watched play for a long time at Madison Southern, now the all-time leading scorer. And this one happened relatively recently over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
As Jay Rose now the new scoring king all-time at Madison Southern.
So he's done it. When did he start playing varsity? Because it was
So
before I
he
started.
does have the COVID year.
Okay.
But he didn't really play any his freshman
that
season.
freshman. So to be able to do that in 3 seasons that's a ridiculous efficiency on offense. That's really good for Jay Rose. And the thing is, he's going to add a whole lot more this
Yeah.
January, February, and
Hopefully March.
maybe a Sweet 16 run. The 11th region's tough, but we'll see. You never know.
Yeah, Eagles fans, the school put this out. We would like to recognize Madison Southern boys basketball player Jay Rose. He passed Carrington Roberts, who in high school scored 1,752 points in his career. Roberts played from 2006 to 2010 and was the all-time leading scorer at Madison Southern, but no longer. He was surpassed by Jay Rose. And crazy thing is, Dawson could have passed that mark against Madison Central a couple of weeks ago.
Ooh, almost.
But got into foul trouble. I think he finished with maybe 15 points
15.
in that game. Very early in the next game, he got that record, but foul trouble kind of kept him out an extra day to becoming the all-time leading scorer at Madison Southern.
Yeah, I'm sure he would definitely wanted that against the rival Indians, but he'll take the win and then getting it the next day and
another
being
win.
able to build on another win.
And he scored 21 points in that game.
Yeah. And Samantha, we've
Pretty
seen Jay
exciting.
Rose. I actually coached against Jay in middle school when I coached at Estill County
Ooh,
for
okay.
one season. And you could tell then that he was a player. But just what he was able to do, got better each year, more confidence. Now the offers are starting to come through. We'll see more from Jay as we go throughout the rest of this season. And that team looks pretty good right now. They are scoring a ton of points over in Berea as the Eagles. Only, I think, a few more home games. They didn't have a ton of home games this year. But so far, they're undefeated at home, looking really good.
They got one a couple days from now, Bluegrass United. It originally was Richmond
Yeah,
Guardians,
check
but they
mark.
switched that. So another dub coming for a home game on that one, yeah.
It's kind of crazy because this is a special team.
Yeah.
This is really a special team that have played together for a long time. Why wouldn't they have all these home games? Because it's
Yeah,
crazy, you
yeah.
know. People want to be there. This is the year to have the home team. But because it is a special team, I'm going to assume a lot of them will travel.
Oh, yeah, they'll
And
go
go
watch
watch-
this team.
yeah,
Well,
for
and here's
sure.
one thing, too, that's I think makes it more impressive for Jay. He's done this, think about it, 3 different coaches the last 3
Three.
years.
Yes.
Austin Newton, who's now at Berea College. Coach Bevins got the 1 year last year, and now Coach Wright. So doing this with 3 different schemes, 3 different kind of styles of play, yeah, and now doing it with Coach Wright, which their kind of fast-paced style will help him really surpass Roberts and really build on this lead.
And maybe get some more offers in,
Yeah,
college
mhm.
offers and stuff like that. They're already beginning to roll in, but maybe some bigger schools and stuff like that.
I'm
Eastern,
excited, right?
So
Any guesses where you think you'll go?
maybe?
No,
clue.
I think we'll see. I mean, obviously more offers will be coming in.
Yeah.
And
I'm
we'll see
excited
what
to see
happens,
where he
but-
ends up.
That's number 7, though, on our top 10 list for 2023. Jay Rose becoming the all-time scorer at Madison Southern. And as we go to number 6, another spectacular individual player. This one was a big story because of the transfer portal itself. But Parker McKinney, back in the spring, back before football season kind of became too big, Parker announced that he was coming back to EKU, had a tremendous career with the Colonels. Kind of a disappointing final year, Dawson, but kind of nicked up throughout the year. Still had a really good senior season, but that was the big story. Parker McKinney coming back to play football at Eastern Kentucky University.
And even if it wasn't the best team result, he still did some big personal things, breaking all these records and, competing in some big games. And then they went 5-6 last season, so they didn't have the year they thought they were going to have. But still, how many clutch moments did he have that if the defense may have been a little bit better, those were wins or game-winning drives. I could count
had so many clutch moments.
The Gardner-Webb game, Austin P, Central Arkansas. Game-winning drives that just, the defense couldn't hold on.
The Utah game, they won that.
Yeah, and he did that in the last minute, too. It's just game after game after game, he did that.
Here's the numbers for Parker this year. Over 3,000 yards passing, 20 touchdowns. Threw for almost 4,033 touchdowns his junior year. So not as huge of a statistical season, but this year they had a better running game, so that they were kind of allowed to focus more on the running game, kind of take a little bit of pressure off Parker, but still a really good senior year. Threw for almost 13,000 yards in his career at EKU, ran for almost 2,000, 23 rushing touchdowns, 94 passing touchdowns, and all these career numbers that he now holds, all these records at EKU. A legend, in that final game when they won, I was watching the broadcast, listening to Greg and the guys talk about him, and all the good things they could say about Parker McKinney. What a really good athlete he was for EKU.
Kind of unexpected, too. Yeah. No one thought he'd be the guy. Maybe he'd get a chance when they recruited him, but never thought he'd be this. So even more impressive for Parker.
Well, and the big thing about why him announcing coming back was so big because he had some Power 5 schools wanting him to come there. And, of course, with NIL money, EKU kind of helped bring him back. But there were some big Power 5 schools looking to bring Parker McKinney in. And he stuck it out, decided to stay one more year and finish out his career as a Colonel. And we are so thankful, so happy that he did that because we really enjoyed talking to him throughout the years, Samantha.
How great is it? He's such a role model for the CKU
good kid,
football
really
team.
Good kid.
And you didn't even mention they started a new conference this year, so that was a little different for them. I'm going to read off just a few other things. He was a finalist in the Walter Payton finalist for the best offensive player in FCS football. He's been an ASUN Offensive Player of the Week numerous times. The inaugural United Athletic Conference this year, postseason, he was unanimous selection, which is rare, which means every one of the coaches voted for him. It was unanimous. And, of course, Coach Wells couldn't vote because it was, for him.
Vote for your own team.
For your own team. But, there's a list of accolades like this long and so well-deserving. And you mentioned it. He was always... everybody was talking about how he could have been just one play away from this injury that could have kept him out of the game his final season. And it was incredible that the very last home game, when the game was over, you watched, I was there, the board, the video board, it was on him.
Yeah.
It wasn't on the whole team. It wasn't a big wide shot. It was on him.
Yeah. So there you go, Parker McKinney, the all-time career leader at EKU in touchdowns and just so many more records that he held, and it was a pleasure to watch him. Now let's go to our number 5 story in our top 10 list. Number 5 is the 44th District Softball Championship. Another kind of crazy story that unfolded and a big moment that happened in 2023. Dawson, it was the very first game of the year. Madison Central, Madison Southern competed, and Lady Indians won by 15 runs. It was 18-3 in the very first game of the year. So going into the district championship game, while both teams had kind of gotten better, you still expected Madison Central to pull away and get a big win. That was not the case. Lady Indians had to come from behind and then win in extra innings against their in-county rival in a very exciting game that we were there for, and what an incredible game it was, Samantha.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say it was 4-3, 8-inning win. Madison Southern was leading that whole game, and it was shocking to a lot of people because they had never done that this whole season, for many seasons. So for them to come from behind, it was an incredible game to be there. And just, You felt it. You felt that momentum.
It's up here in Richmond, too. Pretty much
Yeah.
a home
at
game
home.
for Central. And without one clutch hit, Southern is the district championship for 2023 in softball. And we didn't really expect that, even though they, as we said, got better slowly over the year. They also had a lot of young players at the time. 2 of their batters were 8th graders. So, I mean, Central was much more experienced, had a better record, and if you just look at it, was the better team. But Southern gave them a heck of a game. Central did end up winning, though, 4-3 in extras.
Let's look back at some of the highlights of that game back in the spring. What a fun game it was. Madison Central winning in extra innings over Madison Southern. Getting Hensley on base and getting the top of the order back up there is very important. Shelby, a hard hit ball in the deep left center. And over the wall! A game-tying home run in the 7th inning by Shelby Hensley. Hard hit ball, straight up the gut, rolls all the way to East Step. She'll field and throw in, but Gilboa aboard with a 1-out single. And a 3-for-3 evening for Brooklyn. Now it's Olivia Metcalf. Metcalf, hard hit ball up the middle. Might that score Gilboa. Eastep will field and throw in, and safe! Gilboa scores on the RBI single from Olivia Metcalf. And Madison Central takes a 1-run lead here in the 8th. 2 outs, bottom of the 8th inning. Tying run in scoring position. And a big pitch coming up from Kaler. Jasmine takes a deep breath. Sets and delivers. And strike 3, swing and a miss. Madison Central for the 2nd straight year, your 44th district champions. What a fun game that was. So exciting as we look back on that one. And Dawson, that night you had the baseball district championship. You know, Tom and I were there on the softball district championship. It was a fun night in Richmond. As we step aside for another commercial break, when we come back, we're getting closer to number 1. We'll look at stories 4, 3, and 2 in our top 10 list of 2023 here on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show.
Whether you're looking for dependability in the game or on the road, Madison County is where you'll find it. Jack Burford Chevrolet in Richmond has the trucks you can depend on and a winning tradition just like our great local sports teams. Come see us at Jack Burford Chevrolet in Richmond or check us out at jackburford.com to see our lineup of dependable trucks and become part of the winning tradition.
I'm Michelle. And I'm Jennifer, and in the spring of 1992, Bishop's Small Engine Repair was born in our mom and dad's barn in Estill County.
Then in the fall of 1992, we made the move to Madison County, where we are today. With the support of our family, customers, and community, we have continued to grow in the outdoor power industry. With a full line of products from Coconut, Grasshopper, Echo, and Shindawa, we can help you tackle your yard so you can enjoy it with your family. Bishop's Small Engine Repair, where our focus is our customer. Stop on in, 119 Northwest Avenue in Richmond.
We can't wait to see ya.
Who makes the best meal in Richmond? Nuevo Vallarta. Friendly service, a place that's good for kids and good for groups. Head to Nuevo Vallarta on Big Hill Avenue in Richmond. Nuevo Vallarta is known for warm hospitality, great prices, great food, and the best fajitas in town. Start with an appetizer, order a la carte, or choose from their huge menu of Mexican favorites for grown-ups and kids. Nuevo Vallarta on Big Hill Avenue in Richmond.
Patrick O'Neill has been serving Central and Eastern Kentucky since 1995. When someone is accused of something they didn't do, or when a good person makes a mistake, they need the best representation they can find. And that's Patrick O'Neill. Whether it's criminal defense, Social Security, disability, personal injury, workers' compensation, or deeds and wills, when you need legal advice, trust the expertise of Patrick O'Neill. He will get you the money you deserve. His office is located in Jackson, but Patrick practices all over Central and Eastern Kentucky. For more information or for a free consultation, call 606-666-2990.
We're back here on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show, wishing everybody a happy 2024. Hope your 2023 had many blessings, and we're talking about some of our blessings here that we got to see in 2023, covering some legendary and incredible athletes and coaches here in Madison County. And we'll start now with number 4 on our top 10 list, and that was a big season for the model boys soccer team. Another good year for them, Dawson Rule, and the story in 2023 was they defeat Madison Southern in the district tournament. That win was the first time since 2017 that they had beaten the Eagles and they find themselves in the district championship game where they lost to Central. But the big deal was them making it to that district championship game for the first time since 2013, a big season for the model boys soccer team.
I think a lot of people, honestly thought it'd be another Central Southern boys soccer match. And models boys soccer, if you've been paying attention, most people, not the biggest soccer fans, but if you have been paying attention, they've been quietly winning games these past couple years. And you may not know about it unless you read paper or listen to us. They're doing such a good job over at Model with sports, getting these teams that have struggled. Been doing it with basketball this year, and girls soccer has been solid. Boys soccer this year, really surprising. And although they lost 3-0, I believe it was a score, it was a close competitive game most of the time. And, when Central got their first goal, you thought Model's going to get a goal here. And eventually, Central was just, I think, too good. But Model boys soccer, let's not count them out. They've got something special brewing over with the soccer team.
It really was a special game for them. It was almost like everything went right during that game for Model. Don't forget, they also won the All-A state championship that year in soccer. So
the state championship, the region.
Sorry. Like for the 11th region. I apologize. Yeah.
Yeah, but what they were able to do was really, and you talked about it, what Coach Braden Powell has done the last couple of years, taking over that program, a young guy that understands the game. And I think what what Mr. Sutton, the AD, has done, he's also the girls basketball coach, he's brought some really good young coaches into, like his son's the baseball coach, look at what Coach Evans has done early on this season with the basketball team. So he's done a good job of finding young coaches that are trying to make a name for themselves, that want to be good, and maybe eventually further on their career. But you got to get your start somewhere, and Coach Sutton doing a good job of finding the right people to take over those programs.
I didn't realize they were all that. You think about it, you almost top to bottom, young girl soccer coach. Coach Castillo, she's young too. She was hired back in this last summer. So they're building. It's going to take some time, but especially with boys soccer, really good program at Model that may be getting slept on in the area.
And they had scored the most goals in the region. They were in the top 5.
They had players they had players that were top goals individually in the entire state. So, I keep saying it, but we've been sleeping on Model Boys Soccer a little bit. They're a really solid program.
Yeah, they scored 67 goals this year. That was third in the region behind Lafayette and Dunbar, who scored, I think 12 more than them.
I think they went to state, those teams, maybe.
Yeah, so a big year for Madison, or for the Model Boys Soccer team here in 2023. That is our number 4 story. And now let's look at our number 3 story this year. This one, another EKU story. We look back on what Coach Hamilton and his team did in the postseason in 2023. That run in the CBI. How much fun was that to be able to cover? A lot of primetime games where, it was right during March Madness, the madness that comes with that type of year. But to be able to kind of go through that, have all these games where you're the only show in town, people have to turn on ESPN and watch your team play, and to have these dramatic overtime wins and double overtime wins and coming from behind, and to do all that with the excitement that they did, I think really helped propel EKU basketball.
And something I just thought about when you were saying that, last year, remember, they had the most wins in the state. It was like 22 or something.
Yeah.
They had more than Kentucky ended up getting with that postseason run. Is what got them that. They had more than Louisville for sure. Yeah. Bellarmine, all these other schools.
Yeah, Northern Western.
Because of that run, that got them the most. And it was just one shot away from maybe being the champions, which would have been awesome. Well, it was a great run regardless, but they overtime, double overtime, and then the last shot in the championship game.
Well, Samantha, I think one of the most special things about that was a kid that we covered in high school, Isaiah Kozart, really made a name for himself in that tournament well. Blocking shots, rebounds, had some huge offensive games as well in that CBI run, and really I think kind of helped the local fans get interested. Even if they're not an EKU fan, if you're just a fan of sports in general, you find, there's a local kid doing some big things here on ESPN. That was pretty cool as well.
If you'll remember, in that final championship game, they were down 20 points.
Yeah.
Came back, cut it to 1. Kozart is who got the rebound.
Yeah.
When Rob, I think, missed the shot, and then
to get it out to Comer.
To get it out to him to hit that. Try to hit that 3.
So
well, I still want to wish he hit that.
So it was a good run, and again, just everybody here locally looking for something to kind of root for during that season, because we know Kentucky had disappointing
was over.
So it was really EKU or bust, and a lot of folks got behind them in that CBI run that fell short in the championship game, but a tremendous, tremendous season in 2023
And they all
for
came
Coach
back.
A.W. Hamilton. Yep, exactly.
Which is so
not
exciting.
not having the year we hope they would have right now, but still got some
see.
time to fix it. We'll
I'm
see if they
bummed
can
about
do
that,
that.
too.
Yeah.
I'm bummed. It's going to happen. We still got more of the
Plenty of
season.
time. Plenty of time.
Plenty of time.
Our number 2 story for 2023 is another soccer story, and this one on the girls' side as the Madison Central girls soccer team makes that incredible run to the state tournament, Dawson, and knocking off some incredible teams, some nationally ranked teams in the process.
I mean, they had first. I forget who their first region team, but they played Douglas in the semifinals.
Yeah, Franklin County was
Franklin
the first
County.
one. Yep.
That was big. Frederick Douglass, that came down to PKs, I think, or
Double
came down
overtime.
to the
They
end.
won in double
overtime. Okay, so it was close to the end, and Douglas was favored in that game. No, not a lot of people thought Central would even make it past that. Then you face Catholic, who's won region how many years in a row?
Yeah,
I
they just
couldn't
won it
even-
the year before.
I couldn't tell you how many,
Many years.
And like Michael said, they're nationally ranked. You know, they don't lose a lot of games if they ever lose at all. And then Central beat them. It was like, this is one of the craziest runs ever. Like, we knew Central's girls soccer team was good, but to knock off all these Lexington schools in a row, nationally ranked team, to go to state, I mean, that was such a cool
Well, here's
run
an
for
interesting
them.
fact about that. So, the KHSAA website dates back to 2005 for girls soccer when Central and Lexington Catholic had played. That win in this year's region championship game was the first time ever, going back to 05, that Central had defeated Lexington Catholic, and it comes at a time where Catholic was nationally ranked and had won so many region titles in a row. To beat them in the region championship 1-0, a dramatic win and an incredible win for the Madison Central girls soccer team, and they come in as our number 2 story in 2023. Samantha,
They had not lost a game on the road or even at a neutral site. So what a season. I mean, these girls, some of these girls, they play together not just for Central, but on all these other club teams. And they had, I want to call it a perfect season. It didn't end the way they wanted. They still wanted that run. But I'm going to call it a perfect season because beating Lexington Catholic was great.
Incredible.
Now,
I'm mad at the RPI because they had to go to at Boyle County. You're telling me they beat Douglas and Catholic, and they got to go on the road first round? No way. But that's just how it worked out this year. They had some girls out sick that game, but hey, it was a great season, great run.
You almost want to think Boyle County's like a nationally ranked team because
they made the top Final Four this year.
Yeah.
Another incredible story there in 2023, the Madison Central girls soccer
What's
team.
one going to be, though?
What's one going to be? That's a great question, Dawson. We have one story left that we'll look at when we come back. What is our top story from 2023? We'll give you a hint. It involves swinging. We'll tell you about that when we come back here on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show.
Whether you're looking for dependability in the game or on the road, Madison County is where you'll find it. Jack Burford Chevrolet in Richmond has the trucks you can depend on and a winning tradition just like our great local sports teams. Come see us at Jack Burford Chevrolet in Richmond or check us out at jackburford.com to see our lineup of dependable trucks and become part of the winning tradition.
I'm Michelle. And I'm Jennifer, and in the spring of 1992, Bishop's Small Engine Repair was born in our mom and dad's barn in Estill County.
Then in the fall of 1992, we made the move to Madison County, where we are today. With the support of our family, customers, and community, we have continued to grow in the outdoor power industry. With a full line of products from Coconut, Grasshopper, Echo, and Shandala, we can help you tackle your yard so you can enjoy it with your family. Bishop's Small Engine Repair, where our focus is our customer. Stop on in, 119 Northwest Avenue in Richmond.
We can't wait to see ya.
Who makes the best meal in Richmond? Nuevo Vallarta. Friendly service, a place that's good for kids and good for groups. Head to Nuevo Vallarta on Big Hill Avenue in Richmond. Nuevo Vallarta is known for warm hospitality, great prices, great food, and the best fajitas in town. Start with an appetizer, order a la carte, or choose from their huge menu of Mexican favorites for grown-ups and kids. Nuevo Vallarta on Big Hill Avenue in Richmond.
Patrick O'Neill has been serving Central and Eastern Kentucky since 1995. When someone is accused of something they didn't do, or when a good person makes a mistake, they need the best representation they can find. And that's Patrick O'Neill. Whether it's criminal defense, Social Security, disability, personal injury, workers' compensation, or deeds and wills, when you need legal advice, trust the expertise of Patrick O'Neill. He will get you the money you deserve. His office is located in Jackson, but Patrick practices all over Central and Eastern Kentucky. For more information or for a free consultation, call 606-666-2990.
Happy New Year, everybody, and welcome back into the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show. Here to wrap things up with our number one story from 2023. Back-to-back state championships for the Madison Central boys golf team. And an incredible run for them once again. Head coach Kyle Congleton, so many good golfers on that team, and back-to-back state titles, Samantha.
And coach of the year.
Yeah, another those accolades are going to just keep coming for Kyle because he's got a tremendous team. What a great guy he is, and coach of the year, yes. Just accolades going to come pouring in when you win back-to-back state titles.
I mean, he's helped turn Madison Central to a golf powerhouse.
Yeah.
Can we call him powerhouse now?
Yes.
You win 2 straight, and you've had that much success for years getting close. They're a powerhouse, easily.
And Samantha, we know about the good players there. You Bond,
I wrote them all down.
And of course,
because I couldn't
Thomas
remember how they, their rankings and how they finished. But Thomas, he led the way with a -1, and then you had Bond, +5, he tied for 7th place. Bales, a +10, he tied for 20th. Baker, +13, he tied for 31st. And Keaton, +24, and he got 63rd. Those first 3 were seniors.
Yeah.
Lots of experience on this team. They were all on the team that won the first state title the year before. So pretty exciting.
Yeah, and you talked about Thomas. He finished, I think, 2nd in the individual tournament.
Yes.
A really good run for him. Of course, he's going to go down to Louisville and play golf with another former Madison Central player who, from the previous state championship team, Clay Pendergrass. Let's hear from some of the guys and Coach Congleton who visited us on the sports show following another state championship. So we got Coach Kyle Congleton and the guys. Coach, first of all, congratulations. I talked to you last week, and one thing I asked you was that it hadn't been like a dominant season like you guys had the year before. And you talked about, we still won 8 or 9 tournaments. Still a pretty dominant year for us. But then you all go down there, and it was dominant. The way you guys started and finished day 1, and then you just kind of coasted in there. I feel like day 2 you did the thing and got the job done. Just talk about what you saw from your guys between those 2 days and how it feels coming back home another state championship.
Yeah. I think we talked about it last year, and, we can talk about it every year really, but the work and the effort these guys put in, all year round, I mean, it goes unnoticed for most. But, down there, I think, and I said it a little bit this week, is, having 3 guys with the experience that we had was a big push for us. And I think we kind of knew that going into. There was some really good teams going. There were some really good teams that got beat out too. But having the 3 guys with some experience was a huge confidence booster for me as a coach. And I know these guys, but nothing was easy about it. And I don't think it's hit me yet, and I don't know if these guys really know what they've done yet. But to be able to go down there, and I think there's 200 something high schools in the state.
It's a big deal.
Get through 3 stages, and to get there, and definitely didn't really walk away with it till late in the back 9. It's again, I don't know if these guys realize how big of a deal it is to win back-to-back state championships, something that nothing's been done in Madison County that I'm aware of as far as a team sport goes.
Yeah,
obviously there's a lot of individuals that have won quite a few state championships, but having a team do what they've done, and the leaders of, Braden and Warren this year, pretty phenomenal, really. And, we could go on and on about it, but pretty special group we got here with us tonight.
Well, Warren, I remember asking you guys last year, what was it like that moment you knew that you were going to be the state champion? Because there's still, holes that are going to be finishing up, but there's a moment when you realize, okay, it's ours, it's over with. Talk about that moment again, and what was it like this year as compared to last year?
So last year, I feel like coming down the stretch, it's a little more because LCA and they were the ones who finished runner-up, and they actually finished on the front 9. And so the guys we were playing with, Taylor County, they got off to a bad start early, and the other team's kind of a bad start early. And then through the round, it was more of a battle. And then kind of getting down on the stretch 14 through 18, kind of when we were I might have been on hole 16-ish, and I kind of started to realize it. And then Coach told me on 18, he's like, go finish out, you're a state champ.
Man.
And then Mason's still behind me, so that was a great feel. It was like, no matter what we do now, we've done it and made history. And then this year it was, I was a little closer individually and kind of fighting for that. And then just kind of hit the stretch 14 through 18 again. I was like, just don't make mistakes. You're in it for the team. Out of contention individually at that point. And I knew it. I knew it early, and then had a little scare, but we were up 8 shots kind of coming down that stretch. And then
a little bit of a cushion.
Yeah.
You guys feel like you're turned into a state powerhouse for golf? I mean, we said it never been done in Madison County before, team back-to-back, but I mean, it's time to brag. I mean, 2 back-to-back state championships is nothing easy. You guys feel like you got to have cemented yourself as a top team in the whole state?
That's a tough question. Me growing up here and being around sports and seeing the powerhouses, when I was playing, we all talk about winning a state championship, competing for a state championship. I mean, as a coach, that's what you build your program on, is doing everything right to build your way up to the top. 8 years ago, I feel like we were nowhere close to that. Powerhouses in my eyes, were the St. X's that have won 22 state titles. But that's not to take anything away from these guys.
How much are changing, Coach?
Private school up there. There's a lot of, private schools have a little more luxury, in my opinion, than what we have. I mean,
a little bit more money in the budget and
correct.
Stuff like that.
So, powerhouse, I don't know, but in dynasty, I don't want to use that word, but what these guys have done over the last 2 years, I mean, we definitely want to sit here, and that's what we said this year. Like, we're at the top. We've came from the bottom. We've worked our way to the top. Let's stay there. I think losing 2 seniors like we did last year, I don't know if in reality we thought we could win another one. We know that was our goal. Like, it's every year. We work hard to win a regional title so that we can compete for a state championship. We say that all the time. So to be able to sit here and do that 2 years ago is, we want to think that, we've built something in the last 2 years, that we are the top, that we are the face of high school golf. And that's another thing I want to say. Like, I realize the support and the love that we have. I get a lot of the text messages. I get a lot of the calls, the voicemails, the love on Facebook. And it's all these guys. It's what these guys are doing. I mean, I think between Saturday night and today, I mean, we're over like 300-something text messages. I mean, the stuff on Facebook and the calls are still coming in. I see it. So the emails this morning I got from other coaches, going back to school and sending me an email today. I think I had 3 or 4. I mean, that's what it's nice to get those from your peers that do sit there and say you're the face and what every team strives to be. So hearing that, it's obviously these guys are doing something right. And yes, we want to think that we are at the top of high school golf, and we are doing better and more than anybody. We do some things like I want these guys to have the best experience possible. We try to be different than everybody, and that's from the way we practice every day together. Where most teams, high school golf's an individual sport. Yeah, we do everything as a team. So, like, I didn't even know Braden had finished in the top 10 down there the other day because I don't look at it. I really don't. I knew he was playing well, but I didn't even know he'd finished in the top 10 until it was over. But, yeah, it's pretty what these guys have done. I mean, Warren's been in the program 5 years, 2 years. Rodney's been with us 3 or 4. These guys have been with us since they were 7th graders. I mean, what these guys have done to build us to get to the top, I mean, it's pretty impressive, yeah.
When you look at golf, I feel like is there a feeder program for golf? I mean, you look at the middle school football teams, Cottle, you think about how good they've been. Basketball, other schools that have done that to move up into the high school level. But for you guys, are all those middle school players, do they come up and play with you all before they get into high school?
So, look, we do keep, let's see, we had 2 7th graders this year. But here's where it starts, and this is where I get too much credit. It all starts with the city of Richmond and what they do and allow Jason Eberly to do.
And Gibson Bay.
And that guy there doesn't get enough credit. When everybody out here at Gibson Bay was pushing for, let's get a bar, let's get a restaurant at Gibson Bay, he's pushing for an indoor practice facility for these guys. And the city got behind him, and they're building a state-of-the-art indoor facility right now that'll be open at the end of the year that's only going to continue to grow junior golf. That's me, an outsider looking in. Obviously, some of these guys work with Scott and Jason. Some of these guys go to Lexington and work with other guys. But what Gibson Bay has to offer for these guys as well and what they allow us to do is a huge part in what they do in the junior clinics starting in the spring through the summer. That's where it starts. So having a feeder program, no, not like some of these powerhouses start with middle school football teams and work their way all the way up. We don't have anything like that, but Jason and Scott and Gibson Bay is a huge part of these guys and where we're at now.
Braden's going to ask you, you talked about the experience from last year. So what was the biggest difference for you and the team maybe as a whole as y'all were going down there for the second straight time to be able to do this? Was it more just confident because you done it last year? Was it knowing the course? What was the biggest difference as opposed to last season?
I would say confidence because we won it last year.
Yeah, hold it up. There you go.
Okay. I would say confidence is probably the biggest thing. Is it not?
Yeah, you're good. You're good. You're good. Well, and I think that's too because you all did it last year. You kind of knew what it takes. You knew how you have day one, then you get the next day. So I think that's a lot that goes into it because you all were experienced and also you look experience is always a good thing to have, even when you've got some young guys, Coach. But with what do you think it was? I mean, did you have a speech prepared for them, or was it, hey, let's just go out here and do our thing?
I have some speeches.
Like Coach Carter's speeches?
Yeah, I mean,
every day.
Yeah, and I think it's more of making sure they're staying focused. I play for Coach Feldhouse, and there's not a guy I look up to more, admire how he coaches, how he coached me. I think, there's probably not a golf coach that talks to their golf players like these guys get sometimes. But I know what it got. I know how Coach Feldhouse got through me. And that was when he was fired up, mad, and that's when I just remember all those moments. So I feel like he got more out of me that way.
Because you know he still loved you, right?
Yeah, at the end of the day, like he knew I had more and wanted more. Yeah. And, we're out here playing, and, they're smiling because I guarantee you there's not a coach out there, and I don't look back or regret anything I say. I do feel like it's an eye-opener for them when I get on them. Maybe I'm wrong, but I do think these guys respond that way. They're five totally different guys, but I do think on the course, like, all right, we got to get our together and let's roll. And I know how that's how I responded to Coach, and I think these guys do a pretty good job. And everybody's different, but these five here really respond well. Me getting on them, but the talks is more just me making sure they're staying focused and what's in front of them, what they have a chance to do. Last year's team, they left their legacy. Hey, you guys as a new group, let's leave our own, and that was kind of a big thing the first night. Like, let's not be content with what we did last year. Let's build on it, and that's probably what we talked more about the night before. The second night, we're so tired. It was short and sweet. And again, it's just making sure they realize the moment they're in, making sure when they walk off 18, there's no regrets. As a coach now, being a player, and walking up 18, I wish I had worked harder so that I could experience what these guys are experiencing. That's another thing. These guys are, I feel like a kid. Like, I'm getting to live what I wanted to do through these guys. Yep. And I don't shame from it at all. Like, everybody wanted to play in Rupp growing up. Yeah. Everybody wanted to play at the state tournament and compete for. That's what we wanted to do. That I never was able to do that as a player, and because of these guys and how hard they're working, I'm getting to live some of that, and I love every second of it.
Well, I want to hear from all of our guys here, so each one of y'all can answer this individually. But what's your experience like with the golf team? We'll start over here, and then we'll go up. But just each one of you, give a little 10 seconds about what your experience with Mass Central Golf has been like.
So, like, when I get there, it's just kind of looking up to Clay and building off him, seeing what he's done for the program, looking up to the older guys. And then just last year building the team we had and just trying to take the role of being the leader this year and realizing what we had and putting in the work with everyone.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that because I was the new kid last year, so I had to look up to pretty much everyone, especially Warren, Mason, and Clay. I'd never been around guys like that. Like, I came from a small town, so definitely looking up to the seniors and the older guys.
All right, go ahead.
I think, ever since I've been on the team, it's always like fighting for your spot.
There you go.
And I think with the players that were on the team last year, you've always wanted to fill in their shoes and not let them down. Even though they're off the team, you still want to.
Yeah, make them proud, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Like Seth said, like the filling in the shoes, like last year I didn't get my chance at all. This year I put in the work. Like, I spent time with Braden and Warren on the course, putting in work, and today this season I got to step up, help the team out. And
Well, I mean, growing up around Clay and stuff, and then Warren came in whenever I started, and it was just really cool to see how good they were and stuff, and all the stuff they got to do, and just wanted to be like them.
Coach, you talked about that a couple weeks ago. You were playing with them out on the course, and there was a little trash talk going on. Who's the best trash talker on the team?
None of them. No,
Safe answer right there.
They're really not. I mean, I try to talk it, and then I don't back it up.
Yeah.
So,
But the game,
none of them really had. No, none of them intimidate me out there prior to, but they shut me up pretty quick.
Braden, you got something? I thought you was going to add to it.
Here we go.
I'm not trash talking coach. He does everything for me.
Yeah. That's a smart kid right there. And you said you had some. Yeah, and that's the thing. You've seen since you've been here. You talked about it. The kids that have come through the program.
Yeah.
There's some really good ones, and you see it all over the county, whether it be just football, soccer, softball, whatever it is. We've got some tremendous athletes, but a lot of it too. We've got a lot of good coaches, and I know that you won't brag on yourself, but you said you learned from Coach Feldhouse. Well, he's a legend. Coach Holcomb just wrapped up at Central. You see what Roof has done, and you've been here for 8 years now, and you're starting to see the fruits of that labor kind of come together. And I think we've got to just kind of brag on you for what you've done for the program, and it's got to feel good doing this at your alma mater as well.
Yeah. No doubt. I mean, luckily I'm in a position due to my family where I can work and they allow me to do this.
Yeah.
So, I knew when my senior year, and I tell these guys all the time, when I was walking up 18th state tournament, I knew I'd be back. I didn't know when or how or what I was going to do, but luckily I was given the opportunity from Principal Brendan Fritz at 21 years old. He called me and basically said, and it really started out with my high school coach. I'm ready to step down if you're ready, and I didn't know what I was getting into. I mean, I had no idea, but I say it all the time, being from Richmond, I love doing what I do. I love being able to, everybody wants to give back or do something, to make your town proud. And I think this is my way of trying to build something here and do that. But again, I mean, I don't do anything. I really don't. I organize this stuff for these guys to where they have the best experience. And, but yeah, I mean, I've said it. I love Madison Central. I love Richmond, and I love wearing Madison Central golf and representing this team and this group of guys. But they're the ones that make it special. I mean, they're the ones that put in the work to where we can sit here in front of you and talk about state championships tonight. And I just have the luxury of being the organizer and making it to where they have these experiences more than anything.
Back here to wrap things up, special thanks to everybody and all the special visitors we've had on the sports show during 2023 as well. You think more recently we had the esports team on for the first time. Thinking about the Madison County Special Olympics guest that we've had who challenged me and Dawson to a tag team wrestling match. We won't get into all that. You can go back and watch it.
Because I'm sure others lost at the table.
Yeah, so a lot of pretty cool guests that we've had on throughout the year. Parker McKinney. You think about just all the different ones that we've had throughout the season. Love getting to know these kids. Love getting to cover them and the coaches in a fun 2023 year.
It really is why we do this, right? People say, "Oh, what are you doing? Which games are you going to?"
All the time.
They ask us everywhere we are in public, "What games are you doing?" And we get so many, even Facebook messages.
Yeah.
What games are you doing? And what can you do this one next? And we want to show my child, and that's why we do this. We love these kids. We love these coaches. Our jobs. Could we have asked for a better job?
Nope.
I love it.
We love our jobs.
Yeah.
Sports.
And Dawson, you do your daily updates as well, where you look back at some of the games and everything, and it's always fun to be able to look back and enjoy some of these moments and relive some of the big stories from the last year.
Just telling stats of a great performance or a big game or a close match that a team just lost or a winning streak or anything like that. It's a great time. Love it.
Looking forward to more in 2024.
Yes.
Don't forget about their what was your all's resolutions to get better in the gym or
Just
to
keep
keep
going.
grinding.
Keep grinding.
To stop saying the bad, dirty words that you say. All of
Only
them.
say one.
Oh, I want to say one cuss word. Okay, well, stop saying that one cuss word for Samantha. I'll try to have mine next week. I got to sit down and think about it and focus on getting better myself in 2024. We hope you all had a tremendous 2023. Thank you for watching, listening, commenting, reaching out to us. Thank you for being a fan of all of the athletes and the teams that we cover. Looking forward to being there with you again in 2024. For Samantha, Dawson, Copeland, Aiden, Gage, Grendelin, from all of us in the WBON-TV and Wallingford Media Group, Happy New Year. Looking forward to seeing you in 2024 from all of us here at the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show.